Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Chase Andrews, and I want to bring your attention to a critical issue affecting our neighbors here in Western North Carolina, which is literacy barriers. I'm speaking today to educators, community leaders, policymakers, nonprofit organizers, and all of you who care deeply about resilience and justice in rural communities. The topic is personal. I'm in my home and the room where a tree crashed through the roof 7 months ago during Hurricane Helene. That disaster didn't just challenge us structurally, it revealed how deeply unprepared many families are, not because they don't care, but because they don't have the literacy tools needed to respond. Literacy is often framed as academic, but in the context of Western North Carolina, it's tied directly to survival. Literacy means understanding emergency alerts, knowing where to go, how to apply for FEMA, how to request aid, and even how to help our children continue learning when schools are closed. In moments of crisis, literacy is a tool that helps people take action. Western North Carolina is known for its natural beauty, but it's also marked by rural isolation, poverty, and limited access to educational resources. In some counties, residents live 30 to 40 miles from the nearest adult learning center. Broadband internet is inconsistent at best, and too often our schools don't reflect the cultural realities of Appalachian life. When Hurricane Helene hit, many people lacked the literacy skills to understand public safety warnings. When wildfires displaced dozens of families last year, they were handed paperwork they couldn't read. And those literacy gaps had real measurable consequences: delayed aid, housing instability, and missed opportunities for recovery. This issue isn't about pointing fingers, it's about recognizing how systems of inequality show up in moments of disaster. Inaccessible literacy isn't just a crisis during emergencies, it's a daily reality for many of the families in the region. On our website, we identified 4 obstacles that show up again and again. Geographic isolation, distance to resources makes regular literacy instruction almost impossible without transportation support. Economic hardship, poverty limits families' abilities to invest in books, internet, and after-school support. Cultural disconnect. Curriculum and materials often ignore Appalachian tradition, values, and dialects, which can make learners feel excluded. Digital divide. Even when families own smartphones, broadband access is unreliable or unavailable in many homes. Together, these barriers create a perfect storm, especially when disaster strikes. But these aren't just challenges for children in school. Adults need literacy for everything from employment and healthcare to voting and navigating legal processes. Let me share one story with you. A single mother in Haywood County lost her home in the wildfire. When she tried to apply for FEMA, she ran into wall after wall. The forms were complicated. She had no home internet. Her reading level was below what the paperwork required. It took nearly a month, 30 days of stress, uncertainty, and fear before she finally got assistance. That delay wasn't just frustrating, it exposed how much of our emergency response infrastructure assumes a level of literacy that simply isn't universal. Her story is just one of many. From grandparents raising grandchildren and needing to decipher school technology to residents trying to read wildfire containment maps, the stories are everywhere. And the effects go beyond education. They shape our economic future and our community cohesion. The good news, there are solutions, practical, community-rooted solutions. These were explored on WNC Literacy Barriers website, and I'd like to expand on a few here. Mobile literacy units. These are customized vans equipped with learning tools, books, devices, and volunteer tutors. They drive directly into underserved areas, places where families might not otherwise receive support. Family-based and community partnerships. Churches, libraries, fire stations, and food banks can serve as hubs for literacy outreach. These are places where people already gather. By integrating literacy programming into these settings, we create low barrier access points. Mobile optimized resources. In WNC, smartphones are more common than desktop computers, so literacy materials should be designed for mobile use, videos, simple navigation, large text, and translation options. Culturally responsive curriculum. When Appalachian stories, voices, and experiences are reflected in our teaching materials, people feel seen, they stay engaged, and they're more likely to pass on literacy values to the next generation. Dynamic literacies and contemporary media. We can no longer treat reading and writing as the only forms of literacy. People today need to decode infographics, evaluate online content, interpret social media, and use mobile apps. That's where dynamic literacy comes in, teaching people to move between platforms, understand multimedia formats, and respond to real-world problems. A text message alert about a wildfire evacuation is a form of media. Knowing how to read, assess, and act on its media literacy in action. Contemporary literacies help us connect across generations too. Grandparents understanding their grandkids' assignments, parents managing health portals, teens advocating online. The broader our definition of literacy, the more inclusive and resilient our communities become. So what can you do? If you're an educator, advocate for rural outreach and culturally sensitive materials. If you work in public service or healthcare, consider how your documents and forms are written. If you're a nonprofit, fund mobile literacy vans or train volunteers. And if you're a community member, mentor, donate books, or simply spread the word. Even small change can make a huge difference. In Western North Carolina, literacy isn't just an education issue. It's a safety issue, a health issue, and an economic issue. Every person deserves the dignity and understanding, the power to respond, and the confidence to build a better future. Thank you for your time. Please visit our website to see resources, read stories, and get involved. Together we can build a more literate and more resilient Western North Carolina.